Hello, everyone, and welcome to an observation of life. And this is a podcast. I'm also doing a video on YouTube that you can check out if it resonates. For all of you that are returning, thank you for being here. It is so lovely to connect with you all. You're all so amazing, and from the highest self to your higher self, I truly love you, just the way that you are. So, usually I try to go for topics, and this next topic was supposed to be about the Akashic records. But as you all know, I created dimensions of love where we are awakening and we're using different tools that eventually will also fall away, and the only thing that will remain is your true self, who you truly are. And that was the purpose of creating dimensions of love. And all of you that have found this channel, whether it's your spirit guides connecting to my spirit guides and then connecting us together, or if you believe in past lives that we are connected from that direction, all of that really doesn't matter of how the connection is formed. The most important thing is that it was a connection formed, and it was meant to be for all that are subscribing in this channel, that are listening to this podcast, that are viewing me in this video. Everything is connected. It has its purpose. It's all perfect, exactly the way that it's supposed to be. It's exactly the way that it's supposed to be. And the mind doesn't understand that, how these connections can be made in such a way. And it's not for the mind to digest, because it is deeper, wider, and more silenced than the mind can even comprehend. So if we just let the mind view this however it wants to view this, and just dive into the love that we feel, that frequency, that pureness, I would like to invite you all to, because as you know, on this channel, I do it with intuition. That was the whole point of even starting Dimensions of Love. It was following my guidance, my intuition, and hoping that if there's someone out there feeling just as confused or feeling like they're alone, you're not alone. You're never alone. And if you are alone for a little bit, it is because the Most High, the love inside of you, God, however you want to call it, is removing you so that you can reconnect to who you truly are. Because we can get entangled in so many energies that we delude ourselves so much that our essence we can't pick up that fragrance of our true essence because it's been diluted so much. We can't taste that original taste that we are because it's been diluted. And so it's all about clearing out so that you can be what you've always been, that you are already what you're looking for. And so, as you all know, I always follow my intuition, how I'm supposed to do it. I wasn't drawn to do an Akashic record video. I was planning and I was going in that direction, but as always, it's spirit. Spirit is driving this, and I'm just trusting. And sometimes it's, even for me as a speaker, it's terrifying doing things that you have no idea of what you're really doing, but you still do it. And so just because fear is there doesn't mean that one should stop. And I always advise you all to follow your inner guidance and don't let fear stop you from whatever it is that you're trying to achieve or do. Because it's all in the mind. If we can change our mindset, we can change everything else. It's all in the mind. And so with my intuition now, doing the Akashic records, I'm going to be saving that for 2025. What I'm being drawn to do on this observation of life, and it is life that we're observing from different aspects in the theme of awakening, of consciousness, of awareness. And it is a broad perspective because even though it's a niche, consciousness and awareness, it is broad in that sense. One thing cannot change when another thing happens. So everything is interconnected and everything changes. And so if you experience an awakening, it doesn't matter. You can experience it very young. You can experience it when you're 30. You can experience when you're 60. It doesn't matter. The time doesn't matter, really. What does matter is when you awaken, everything changes. So your eating habit changes. You start to work out if you didn't work out before. You want to pick up something new, meditation, you want to do yoga. You're just drawn to healing and a sense of purpose. And not everyone gets there. Not everyone awakes. Okay? It's difficult to digest. So everyone has the opportunity there. And the journey is different. Some experience a lot of suffering, and other beings just are very naive, and then poof, just one day everything becomes very clear. And so you can never judge how the journey looks or where someone is, if they're going to awaken or not. So always be humble, not only with yourself, but with others too, because everyone is going through their difficulties. And if you've been chosen to awaken, to understand this, then try to support others with your frequency. And know that you are going through a lot of things, and it might be difficult, but you're always protected and you're always loved. And so no matter where you are in that journey, no matter how it looks for you, I want you to remember that. Just like this channel is a reminder, it is a reminder that dimensions of love, there is different love, beautiful love. You know, love isn't easy sometimes. Just like when we develop, just like the universe, how universe happen when stars explode. It's very ferocious, but it's love. It's something beautiful. And it's the same way that we go through difficulties. But the Most High, the love, will never make you go through it unless it was meant to be like that. That was the best route for you to realize the most. because a higher dimension already knows what is best for you, even when you don't know it yourself. So there is no one hating on you, cursing you, or just making you suffer more than anyone else. It is not like that. It's beautiful. It's love. Love can be difficult. Love is so beautiful that no matter how difficult it is, you always return to love. And this is what dimensions of love is about. It's the return to love, to that innocence, to the pureness, to what you are. It's not even the returning, because you're always there. You just need to realize it. And that is what awakening can look like. And I say can look like because it's so different for everyone. So for this 2024 wrap up, and I'm so excited for the new year to come and what awaits this channel and what community we can build here. And so an observation of life is part series of, can we observe life in all of its differences and see the beauty in that observation? And so, as I said, the Akashic records, I'm going to do that video 2025, but I'm being drawn by my intuition, because my intuition is leading the way. And then there's spirit guides, spirit helpers, higher dimensional beings. I mean, there's so many different entities, energies, frequencies that are supporting when you are awakening. And so I follow those guidance, and I sit in my meditation and in quiet time, because in silence we can truly hear the Most High speak clearly to us. When the mind subsides and in that silence, we can feel and understand what needs to happen. And that is how I follow my intuition. And so I also do tarot card readings, and with the intuition and working with the full moon. And I've been drawn to work with the full moon because there are a lot of things that are in illusions. We've gone through the Piscean age, coming into Aquarius age, and now we're more in the collaboration. Before we were in the illusion, and it's the collective's frequency and energy. So we have to understand, what is the world going through? Because even if you are awake, you need to understand what is happening in the world. Where is the world going? And you need to be humble with those that are perhaps still not ready to fully awaken. They're not ripe quite yet. And so, going through this journey, your intuition will always be the greatest compass you can have. And that is how I follow the guidance into how I do these videos that I do, and why. And of course, from the intellectual mind, I know that you need to pick one niche and you need to talk about that and you need to perfect it. But that's not what I'm supposed to do. And I supposedly the algorithm, I don't get so many benefits from the algorithm because it's shifting and it's changing. And it doesn't matter to me because my channel is called Dimensions of Love. So there's different dimensions to it, whether it is the body, the society. There's just so many different levels. And so when we understand that, I can't pick one niche. It is From my ancestors, I have the tarot card readings and the intuition and the astrology of when we're born with the stars, because all of this affects, and it's not completely of who we are, but it is an insinuation of what our essence is. What season are you born with? How was the constellation of the star when you were born? Which year were you born in? You know, all of that. Every year has a flavor, has a taste to it. Every season has its own fragrance. And so if we understand all of this, that if you chose as a soul, as that unique, to enter and be born at a specific time in a specific family, you know, because we can be different in our families too. So in a family, maybe you're supposed to be invisible. In another family, maybe you're supposed to fail because you had jealous parents, so you can never be something. You know, it's all of these different things that are a layer on top of layer. And life is like that. And, you know, the mind loves that. And, you know, the mind just enjoys the complicated, the detail-oriented parts. And even though that it might soothe the mind, it's also spiritual to understand that we are in a way all interconnected, and that everything has its place and its meaning. So not to go in one direction completely, but just I really want you all to see it from as many perspectives as possible, because if you can see many more perspectives, that is true intelligence. And we have from our ancestors, we have from our past lives. So there's so many layered energies that are in each and every unique expression. And then we might have different assignment that we don't know, but we knew before. And there's so many things we don't even know. So we always want to measure, and we want with science to show us. We need to have data where it actually shows. And consciousness don't have data. It is just emptiness. It's silence. It's undescribable. And it is so fascinatingly and beautiful that you can't touch it in that way. You can't move it. You can't find it. It's just there. And that's why as in this observation of life, it's looking at different perspective. And in my channel, Dimensions of Love, it is understanding the different dimensions and the different love that we have. And then through awakening, all of these, you see, they tie into one another, into forming this understanding. What I'm trying to convey to you, what I want you to see and understand is that all of that makes up the whole of what you truly are. So to show that unique self is to express, and the way that we express, when we express it, is when we can actually make other people drop their masks. They can be more authentic. And because when you are around someone that's authentic, when you are viewing something that is authentic, that is real, it brings out the real inside of yourself. And so that's why I'm so honored to have you all here that are watching this, because you're in a beautiful, difficult, complicated, but very simple journey that is just yours. And you're probably going to touch people's hearts and change and elevate people in different ways. You all have different unique skills and talents, and and just share that with the world. Just don't let all that greatness just stay there. Share it with the world. That's the whole expression of what this is. So I suppose this 2024 recap of this year is, ask yourself just a simple question. As an observation of life, can you be an observation of yourself and ask yourself, for this whole year that's been, what am I proud of? What do I want to take with me into moving into the new year? And what do I want to leave behind? What doesn't serve me anymore that I can see and that I know, even if it's difficult, even if it's, you don't know how to leave it, you've never done it. How do you even do it? Even if there's this unknown chapter, can you still be willing and surrender and say, I don't know what I want, but I'm sure of what I've had. I don't want that. I don't want this thing, this habit, this person, whatever it is that you know is creating restrictions in your development and growth. And you know, sometimes people have difficulty of letting go of someone. So maybe you're on your way there, but someone can't let you go. You know, it's so easy to have attachments. It's so easy to be codependent, and it's difficult being an empath and being disconnected, because you are feeling everything so much more. And therefore, it's so much more difficult to handle. And so I want you to honor that in yourself, that is a great ability that you have. But what do you want to leave? What do you want to leave behind so that you can continue doing more of what you want? Because everyone is not viewing their lives like this. Everyone is not valuing their time. And people think that I'm not you know, when you're sleeping, you're not looking at time. You're just going day by day. It's like autopilot. It's just happening. The universe is taking care of you, but nothing really happens. You're not excelling. You're not moving in a different direction. But when you awaken and you start to observe life in a different way, you start to engage in life in a different way, and you change everything through this process. You notice what you eat, what you don't eat, what you should eat, and everything is changing. You start to work out, your eating happens, and the people, the conversations you engage with, what you distance yourself from, all of these things are happening because this is a new version of you that is taking form. And this new version holds a different frequency and is connected to different people. And so you're leaving these old versions behind, and that is everything that's connected to it, whether that is food, a location, a place. You may be even walking a new path when you go to work. I mean, it can be the most simplest thing to the most complicated thing of just changing your complete environment and living in a more beautiful, luxurious place. And so everything can change. And everything is changing when you're changing. So this is what I'm being drawn to talk about in this observation of life. Can you just observe yourself for the ending of this year? And just really even if you don't write things down, can you write it down so you just can read it for the next year, so that you are aware of that you're actually taking one step, so that you can see it? Because sometimes we say, oh, I'm going to do that. And then just it becomes this thing in the back burner, and it goes further and further and further away. Because we are human beings of habits. And if we have a habit that's bad for us, or that's not benefiting for us, it's still going to continue. We need to integrate new habits. And in order to integrate new habits, we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to see ourselves. And this is where I'm not doing the best that I can do, and this is where I'm I know I don't want to admit it to myself. Just the simplest thing is sitting or standing and weighing yourself. How much do you weigh? Maybe you've never done it. Just to get up on that scale to see it. Many people say, no, but I don't have to see it. And I just look at my body and I'm okay. That's okay. But there's a symbol of weighing yourself. Is for you to be honest to yourself and say, hey, this is where we are. Do we want to be here? Or do we want to change our reality? Do I need to eat less? What is it that I need to do? Why am I eating? Is it emotional? Is it something that I'm hiding? There's so many different layers into. I'm just saying this very simple thing here, but it is so resonating because it is that simple. And so can we here just be honest with ourselves and see it for what it is? Because the more honest you are to yourself, the more honest people will enter your life. And even though one thing is that being honest to myself, it's just, if I'm going to check my bank account, I'm going to get sad. It's not going to feel good. I'd rather avoid it, or I check it all the time because I'm stressed of it. It can come in different energies. But can you just let everything be, even that? Okay, you check your account. Okay, this is the current state. And I don't want to be in this state. So what can I do to change it? So I have to take these steps. And we have to be in this world. Even though if we're spiritual, we can't resign completely from the 3D reality. So what I want to say here to you all is that in this observation of life, it is watching your own mind. It is understanding yourself. It's being honest. Just like this, what this channel is all about. It's not about judging yourself for doing wrong. And please make mistakes. Because no one has ever learned by winning. You always learn from your mistakes. It's nothing wrong making mistakes. It's what you do with that mistake moving forward. If you keep making the same mistake, then that is the problem. But if you make a mistake and you view that mistake, you look at it closely and you understand where the mistake was made and what you need, what error needs to be looked at, needs to be fixed, and then move forward in changing. That is how you excel in everything in life, in everything within yourself. It's not about achieving or winning. It's about making mistakes and not being afraid to make mistakes in order to grow to a new version of yourself, in order to connect to other people, to other human beings, to the universe. It's all about the connection and the love and the growth. Because honestly, if someone makes a mistake and owns up to it, I made this mistake and I'm terribly sorry and I really don't want this to happen again. We honor a person like that more than a person that says, oh, but I don't want to have the consequences for this mistake. I don't want to deal with these consequences. So instead, I'm going to hide this and I'm going to avoid it. And what happens is that person looks unfaithful and very, and like a gaslight. We don't trust a person like that. And so then we judge them even more harshly because they were actually hiding something they knew. But this is just rippling out to how we human beings are, that we rather hide something, even from ourselves, thinking that this is how we protect ourselves. And I say every human being has these traits, including me. It is about recognizing, am I trying to hide something? What am I trying to hide? What am I trying to make it look more beautiful than it actually is? Just when we're honest, and even though it might hurt, when we are being honest and we have to suffer consequences, it's still a consequence that is in the right moment. That means that it can be a less of a consequence because you owned up to it. Versus when you are not facing the consequence and you want to hide it, then the universe just kind of comes in very quickly and abruptly, and then you suffer the consequence even more difficult than what it could have been. And again, this is difficult, and so I advise you to always be kind to yourself and always be kind to others. But again, it's about the honesty. So may you be honest with yourself and everyone around you. And so I want to share my honesty here on an observation of life, is that it's not about being perfect. It's about starting, even though you know it's not perfect. And just like that, I started Dimensions of Love. It wasn't perfect. And I knew it wasn't perfect. But that was not the frequency I was starting the channel for. I started the channel because I want someone to see that from 1 year, from 5 years, from 10 years. Whenever that frequency, that video reaches that person that really needs it in that moment. That is why I started making these videos from a place that wasn't perfect. And I want you all to see the growth, because I'm committed to my growth. And I know that everyone that are listening to this observation of life are willing and open to view life, curious, accepting that we don't know, but we're really curious, and we can learn from one another because we all have something unique. That's the whole point of it. That we learn from one another. And that we all have special skills. And so I hope to provide healing, support, and also bring you a true story of an awakening and the journey through it, of having you all here and listening. And I hope that this podcast isn't very long. They tend to be because I'm not connected with time when I do these sittings. But I'm very grateful that you are all here, and I wish you all the best, the most beautiful year of 2025, if it even is 2025. What do we know? Well, we call it 2025, so let's just try to make it simple. I wish you all growth, love, and joy. Going through whatever it is that you're going through, or your curiosity. May you see more perspectives. May you expand, and may you sit in silence for just a bit, no matter how difficult it might be for the mind, but just to sit in silence so that you can see yourself clearly. I wish you all love and happiness and prosperity. And I thank you all truly from my heart. And I always end all of my videos and all of my podcasts that I've done with "Have a wonderful day. Sending love your way." Bye, everyone.